evening, everyone. Welcome to the third of our 4 budget workshops. We appreciate the good turnout this evening. We've purposely moved the workshops around the community, and so we're very pleased to be at the Fleetwood-Jourdain Community Center this evening. Our last meeting will be a week from Monday, Monday, November the 30th, at the Civic Center in the City Council chambers, so a location that I would imagine you're all pretty familiar with. We have kind of just to recap, and Lynn will do, I'm sure, a little recap as well, but we've been trying to build on these sessions. So the first session a week ago, Saturday, was meant to sort of lay groundwork of what we do as a city. And it was really important to lay that groundwork to try to bring everybody up to speed, because some of you are very involved in civic affairs, some of you are sort of involved in civic affairs, some of you aren't so much involved. We really wanted to try to bring everybody up to speed. And so as we then had the 3 workshops following, one was important to have people attend on the Saturday, to have you participate in the following 3 workshops so that you're all on the same page. At our last meeting last week at the Crown Center, we kind of laid some additional groundwork on the values piece, and I really appreciate all of you sticking with that, because it's a little bit less direct than just saying what should we keep, what should we cut. Well, now that you've laid that groundwork this evening, really probably it's safe to say is where the rubber meets the road, and we're looking to you tonight to at the end of 3 hours to have some real concrete proposals that we'll be able to chew on price, cost between now and the 30th of November, and then that final meeting at the Civic Center will allow us to really have your recommendations be crafted that will move forward to the council. What we're then going to do in that final week between November 30th and when the recommendations come to the City Council at a special meeting on Monday, December the 7th, is we're really going to reach out to the community with your recommendations and say, this is what the process of these community workshops have brought. What do you think as a community? And we're going to replay these workshops. Actually, we're going to do a marathon of these workshops. They'll be on 24 hours a day for 3 straight days. The 4th, 5th, and 6th of December on Channel 16. We're going to start at 12 noon on Friday, December the 4th. Go all day on Saturday, 24 hours, all day on Sunday until 6 o'clock. And then we're going to do a live call-in show at Evanston Community Media Center so that people can, we'll talk about the recommendations of this report, and we'll allow people to call in and ask questions, and we'll do that for probably about an hour. And then on the 7th of December is when the results of all this workshop will be done. So the marathon, the TV marathon piece is a new piece, which we're announcing publicly tonight. But 2.5 days, 24 hours a day of these workshops. Again, to try to reach out to people, because I think one of the things certainly that I'm concerned about is that while I'm thrilled that you're all here, very dedicated, been willing to go through this process, you have another 74,950 of your fellow residents who have not been part of this. And whatever we can do to try to generate some interest among them in that final week to get reactions to the recommendations that you make. So I'm hopeful that by the time Lynn comes before the Evanston City Council on the 7th of December, this is going to be a very worthwhile, meaty process. So that takes us to tonight, rubber meets the road night. And unless there's any initial questions, Lynn, it's all yours.
Thank you, Wally. Good evening, everyone. Really anxious to get down to the brass tacks tonight, so thank you so much for coming back. I see a few of you who were not here last time. Welcome to you. We have a less structured evening for you tonight where you will be in conversation with each other, with department directors as you wish, and actually have an opportunity to work alone if that is your preference. So I just wanted to start out by asking each person to say their name and very quickly to go around the room with the microphone, and so that people in the room know who you are, and each other knows who each is. And then we'll go on to having our first round of question and answer with the department directors. I will be doing just a very brief recap, and we want to keep this very efficient and quick. So I'm actually going to walk around with the microphone for you to make it fast, okay?
Jadad Risky.
Christian Sorensen.
Pat Coy-Rossi.
Jane Woolley.
Lisa Wright.
Bill Arndt.
Craig McClure.
John Sorensen.
Maureen Kenny.
Carolyn DeLutri.
Precious Wright.
Carl Bova.
Robert Muno.
Joan Hickman. Joan Hickman.
Michael Drennan. John Spesco.
Vito Brugliera.
Bill Geiger.
Chris Ernst.
John Bryther.
Susan Churko.
Jim Hughes.
Jim Coy-Rossi.
Bonnie Wilson.
Fred Rikowski.
Bill Smith.
Bob Janes.
Mary Beth Schroeder.
Bruce Edenbach.
Kevin O'Connor.
Mike Vasulko.
Suzanne Calder.
Okay, did we get everyone? Good. Thank you, all of you again, for now being here on your third workshop. I wanted to do just a very brief recap. I always like to share feedback from the workshops. Tonight, we're going to have a mural near the door as you exit in order to put your feedback on there as to the process. Last time we used a feedback form each of you filled out at the end, and I just wanted to give you a few of the comments from last Thursday. There were compliments on citizen participation, the forum for discussion, hearing what others think, and diversity of ideas. There were some misgivings, and those were that the council may not listen to the people, ability for everyone to listen to ideas openly, and lack of ability to prioritize. And ideas for going forward need energy to keep participants confident that the process will work, focus on outcomes that will impact the budget, ability to evaluate actual proposals, keep the focus on generating ideas, not consensus, and ask people to be specific, give examples of what they suggest. Last time, we spent our evening reviewing the perspectives, the perspectives of the people in the room. What does the city excel at? Where do we miss the mark? And where do we need to put our focus and attention most creatively? We also discussed the community and the city's purpose and the importance of that in order to connect and understand the values, what's really important to the community, and so that anything we do stays in alignment with that. We practiced listening, how to do it, and actually used some skill, I think, last time in doing that very effectively so that I felt that the output was very strong. And the final piece of output related to what the essential attributes are of the community in 2010, 2011. And you all saw the posting of the report on the website, I'm sure, but I just did a few highlights of that list for you, and it's a summary, so it is incomplete. But essential attributes: fiscally responsible, I see my misspellings already, frugal, efficient, and resourceful, just and equitable balanced budget, optimal level of service, optimal coordination and cooperation, prevent deterioration of city assets, capitalize on citizen input, community engagement, and healthy business environment. Okay, these kind of baseline, we absolutely want these in mind. We want to be sure that anything we do relative to the changes that are required in these challenging fiscal times always have these things as basic understandings of what the characteristics of that future should look like. So here's the agenda for the evening. It's in your bin. It's on a green sheet tonight. Some of you may have already seen it. Please pass it around if not. We're going to have next what you very much requested, which is opportunity to dialogue with the department directors. And what we've planned is 3 rounds of dialogue, 15 minutes each. And I actually am going to ask in a few minutes for those directors to come to the tables, and you see that each table is labeled Finance, IS, Community Development, Public Works, Police, Fire, Parks, Rec and Facilities, and I'm missing one, Administration. And those directors are going to come to the tables and give you an opportunity to have conversation. We'll do it 15 minutes at a time. If you wish to, you may stay for 2 rounds or 3, if that's what you wish. If you are uninterested in doing that or have had enough of it, you can move immediately onto the opportunity to begin preparing your recommendations. And I'll tell you more about that shortly. So after 45 minutes of dialogue, we're going to go into the idea generation stage, and there will be about 75 minutes of time for you to work either as individuals or in pods, self-organizing groups, whatever you would like. You may use these large Post-it flip chart paper, or there are smaller Post-it tablets in your basket if you would rather work on a smaller scale. And those ideas we would like you to post right up under the categories that are up on the wall up here, whether it be changes in service level, cost containment, efficiencies, non-tax revenues, general revenue strategies, or other innovations. And we'll recap this again when we get into that phase of our process. The earlier phase we are about to start will take 45 minutes, and then we'll go into that one. Let's see. Then next on your agenda would be report outs, where you will have a chance to share with your peers what you have created. And then we, as a group, will have a kind of conversation, a whole group review of same. There may be some things we start to notice right away, similarities or conflicts. And then finally, we'll go over next steps and conclude our evening. As Wally said, next time there will be more opportunity to amplify and then to discern what the strongest recommendations might be. But as someone recommended in the feedback, this isn't a consensus process really, but we will do something to try to understand and grasp what we feel are the strongest recommendations next time. Any questions?
I understand that there's a $9 million deficit. So at the end of the night, when we come up with recommendations, should we come up with something to come to that number?
We're not going to really have the bandwidth tonight to quantify what those things are, but the staff is going to be working on that in between, so we're going to be able to have some of that information by next time, which is November 30th. There will perhaps be more work to be done, and I'm not sure that we'll have all of that by then, but that will be a continual process. So there's definitely a parallel process going on here where staff is working to help us quantify what we're recommending. Another thing I want you to know is there's a parallel process that has gone on with staff recommendations. And if you've been on the website, you might have seen 22 pages of staff recommendations from every department as it pertains to that department, and also recommendations as pertains to citywide. So it's an incredible wealth of ideas. We did not print that out for you, would definitely prefer not to do the printing on that, but please go to the website if you're interested in looking at that. There also is posted the report of the process from last time, so anyone who wasn't able to make it can read up on that. Question? You know, there were only going to be 7 groupings, so we'll move around. Yes. Yes, you will move to where you want to go, and you don't even have to stay there the whole 15 minutes if you don't want to. Yeah. So I figured that we would have everyone would get up and move to the table and the topic or department they're interested in sitting at in just a minute. So. They're on the table.
Why don't we have the department heads sit down and then we'll
Yeah.
stand up and identify.
That's great. And we could do that now.
Great. So we have finance
Okay.
here. We have parks here. We'll put,
HR.
you missed 2 departments, so we need to incorporate library and health.
Okay.
So why don't we put library here? So finance would be HR, administration, all of that. Put library here.
Oh.
Public works here, police.
Okay, so that's not me. So you'll move to the table that you choose based on the department you would like to engage with. So first, let's have the department directors introduce themselves, and then you will have a chance to move to that table. Okay? Wally, you just moved HR to finance, was it?
HR and law to finance.
Okay.
And library.
And library is here along with other admin. Okay. Okay. Would we start here, Doug?
We've already done it.
But I mean to the group.
Oh. Hi, I'm Doug Gaynor, and I'm the Director of Parks, Forestry, Recreation, and Facility Management.
Good evening. I'm Mary Johns, Library Director.
I'm Suzette Eggleston, the Interim Director of Public Works.
Hi, Rich Eddington, Chief of Police.
Hi, Marty Lyons, Assistant City Manager.
Joellen Daly, Director of Human Resources.
Elke Pers, Law Department.
Good evening, Yvonne Thomas, Health and Human Services.
Dennis Marino, Interim Director of Community Development.
Alan Burkowski, Fire Chief.
Okay, so this would be your opportunity now, if you haven't already, move to the table that you would like to visit and the department director with whom you'd like to engage, and we will see you in 15 minutes. Again, you can stay as long as you wish at that table or move along. Time flies when you're having fun. That ends the 3 rounds. Please conclude your conversations. And thanks to the department directors. This is very simple, and we'll just begin. Those of you who can see and hear me, let's just begin, and for the rest of you who are finishing conversations, you'll catch up. So a number of draft criteria came to me. These are very simple. I offer them as draft and also offer to add some if some are missing. So the recommendations and ideas that we are asking for would meet one of these at least. To be of short-term fiscal benefit, long-term benefit, of course, is also desirable because this is not just a one-year issue. Please offer both what to do and how to do it where possible. That your ideas should result in either reduced expenditure or in increased revenue. Very simple, very straightforward. Anything else anyone wants to say about criteria that these need to meet? Either one or many, one or multiple. Yes? Right. I couldn't agree more. And so what would you like to say if this perhaps leads you there, and I did not mean to do so? So how would you frame that expression if you want that as a criteria?
How can we increase the productivity of the departments that are providing these services so that we can produce the same amount of service with less resources?
Okay, I don't think that this...
Classic economist.
Yes, absolutely. And so, indeed, that would still result either reduced expenditure or increased revenue. Either way, it's going to result in that, right?
I suppose.
Okay. Well, no, I don't want to, no argument there. I think your point is well taken. If we need to add something, I'm happy to add it. But if not, maybe it stands by itself. Okay. Yes?
Sometimes in order to have a short or long-term benefit, you actually have to infuse some funds into a startup of, I don't want to say a new program, but a new innovative process or program or software.
Okay.
That's not just a cost-cutting or reduction in expenditure. It's an increase at first with a payoff that's significant later. That doesn't enter into the criteria?
Well, if it's of long-term benefit, it still, I think, meets one of those. So I think we might be okay. This is really... It would reduce expenditure over time, indeed. Okay. We'll just go with those. And a few draft principles that I would like to offer. And here we go. Think out of the box and be creative. Be fearless and bold. I have the feeling that you don't need that advice, that it's already in the blood of the Evanston blood. Encourage rather than judge others' ideas. And offer ideas absent the need to make someone else wrong. Okay, so you can really frame your ideas in a very positive way, and they can probably be heard a lot better. So that might be a principle to follow. And enjoy the process. Are there other principles, and or does anyone object to any of these? Okay. Again, they're very simple. I'll post them over there on the wall with the other things that we added earlier. So the logistics of the next segment are these. We're going to ask you to use any materials that we have provided, Post-it tablets on the table, or the large sheets to record your ideas. You can work either alone or in teams, self-selected teams. There are 6 categories on the wall: efficiency, cost containment, service levels, non-tax revenue, general revenue strategies, and other innovations. And you can post as you go, or you can wait and collect all of your things and post them later. We have slipped schedule a little bit, and I had hoped to give you 75 minutes. I think that we could take 65, and then we'll need to stop. And during that period, if you choose to take a break, please do that on your own. And so that will not be room-wide, just as you wish to take your own break. Let's see. Any other questions? Any thoughts before we get started? Yes? Right on the wall. And if you, if you have any questions, I'll be right here and others around to assist, okay? All right, let's begin.
Evaluate. All right. So Sue was saying perhaps we didn't know enough to say close, so perhaps we should say evaluate.
Evaluate. That's a good. Yeah, really, what we've got to do. It's a longer word. What is the spell for you? Wondering if that's strong. Speaking of efficiencies, I don't know where I read one of the plans. I know we were doing that, but there perhaps we need to reduce the number of balls. Yeah.
Actually, the alderman. We've heard
yeah, but there's an opportunity cost to closing.
But how many of them? Yeah.
The city council budget is just under half.
Okay, time for report outs. This will be easy for those of you who developed ideas as a table and maybe a little bit less easy for individuals, but we'll hodgepodge our way through it, shall we? What I'd like to ask is that for those of you who have table spokespeople, that you select that person and that person would come forward and say their name, speak into the microphone, so the camera can also pick up your presentation.
All right, since we have the neatest, by far the neatest, thanks to Michael, I can actually read this. Efficiency, we talk, this is the perennial topic, close the branch libraries. It might not be popular, but we're bringing up ideas. Close branch libraries and use funds for outreach into community. So the idea is not just to close the branch libraries, but to use some of the funds for savings and some of the funds to do other things for outreach into the community for library functions. Number two is close one fire station. We don't know which one. We've got a couple of brand new ones. Maybe, I don't know if those are the right ones to close, but it seems to me we've got pretty good coverage on fire station. Again, maybe not something that we want to do, but we're trying to save some money. Evaluate community outreach of the Howard Street location. That's the police, I'm not sure what you call that. It's outpost, is that what it is? Evaluate that for possible reduction or elimination. Evaluate boards and commission, and number four, evaluate boards and commissions and utilize effectively to avoid redundancy time spent at council. A lot of times we see a lot of good work done at the commission and board level, like say the plan commission works eons of time on something and they approve something 8-0, and then the council turns around and disapproves it 8-0. If something is approved by the Plan Commission, just as just an example, 5-4, and they get reversed by the council, we kind of understand that. When an 8-0 gets approved by the Plan Commission and it gets disapproved unanimously by the council, I got a problem with that. It's a waste of time. Cut it short. Got it. Next. Cost containment. Secure the services of a regional to defend Evanston, Skokie, and other communities in Springfield related to police and firemen pension funds and other state mandates. We're trying to, get forces together with other communities. Stop picking up the grass. I believe Skokie does that. 3, reduce recycling pickups to every other week. Now that we have those giant blue things instead of those teeny little red things, we probably don't need to pick up quite as often. Stop supplying services to Northwestern if they don't pay for them, like the fire department. Well, we've heard that one before. And reduce developer incentives, or let's say unnecessary incentives. In the area of service levels, we talk about redeploy federal housing funds to assure effective housing policy. See the Affordable Housing Task Force report. We need to encourage Habitat for Humanity, for example, and reduce CHODOs. We talked about that recently at council. That's community housing development, or what's it called? Organization, that's the word I was looking for, thanks. Combine, examine buildings and zoning. We talked about that with Dennis, I think, wherever Dennis is. Non-tax revenue, sell the North Branch Library, privatize trash collections. We've talked about some of these things before. Privatize other services, sell dental services to other communities, and share services with neighboring communities. I think we talked about that last time a little bit. General revenue, build a marina. There's a good one. Everybody likes that one, right? And then, I'd like to build a restaurant on the lake. A revenue, a real nice one, like maybe at Lee Street Beach, huh? Increase water sales to other communities. We've talked about that before. Encourage business, commercial development over residential development. I mean, we can make a lot more money by having businesses and commercial and retail establishments rather than encouraging more condos, which we don't need. Under other innovation, close and sell the Civic Center. A lot of things you could do that. You could sell it and lease it back. You could sell it, tear it down, and I mean, there's all kinds of things we can do, but I think we're kind of stuck on the Civic Center, but that's my personal opinion. Rent empty space in the Civic Center. I think that's something that I don't know, are we renting any space there now? We used to, but I don't know the answer to that question. But it seems to me we have some empty space there we could rent out. 3, keep the Civic Center open, but use it more efficiently. It was a school at one time, so it's kind of hard to use efficiently, but 4, don't be like other towns and give away the store to developers. No 5-year plan developments. The consensus there is that if a developer wants to do something, if they can't do it within 2 years, then they ought to just go away. We shouldn't be subsidizing developer risk. Number 6, we said be bold. File for bankruptcy. If the LA Archdiocese can do it, we can too. Become the Santa Fe of the Midwest, opera, fine arts, etc. And those are our ideas from table 6.
Thank you. As you can tell, we are going to have to speed up our report outs in order to be finished on time and to do all the other business we have to do. And I'm thinking that we have to change the strategy maybe and just have individuals come up and read all of the ideas in one category, except maybe cost containment, which is kind of big. So could I have a volunteer willing to do that? And now we won't have to read what's on the large white pages because all of those have been done. Christian, maybe you would do a first one?
Hi, I'm Christian Sorensen, and I'll be doing other innovation. Encourage businesses that need cooling water from Lake Michigan to locate to Evanston. I think the idea there is that obviously it's a resource that we can use that Chicago uses in certain ways, and we can mimic that. Stop paying to publish public notices in newspapers. See referendum vote on the issue in Ann Arbor, Michigan this month. Continue and reestablish and increase gain sharing initiation, cost savings shared with staff, identifying that opportunity, a residency requirement for city employees, equal expenditures for each ward, such as infrastructure and our street services, bring composting back to Evanston on a per ward basis, obviously an efficient implementation. Other innovation, expand on our annual fairs and festivals, creating a Spoleto, did I get that right? Like a recurring event, maximizing our existing arts and performance organizations. Partner with our hotel, restaurant, and retail services to create complete service and product packages, make a more efficient use of our time and energy. Use our Northwestern, cannot read that word. Whose post-it was that? Venues, maybe. Use Northwestern venues and city facilities for performance events and such as the lakefront parks. Partner with our other local resources to provide health and well-being programs for city employees to improve our productivity, increase our morale, and reduce our health insurance costs, and establish a separate park district with its own separate board.
My name's Jane Woolley. General revenue strategies: renegotiate water supply contracts, sell water to more communities, pursue grant opportunities that are currently unexplored. Fire protection district taxpayers' property would be automatic members. Non-members would pay a fee, can be done by referendum. Parks and Rec needs to look to lease fields and centers to outside organizations, lease space to businesses on city property, special tax on concrete sales, initiate revenue sharing with GROOT on recyclables from residents and businesses.
Thank you. Someone from this table?
Non-tax revenue, parking on street, down,
Your name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm Mike Drennan. Hi, guys. Parking on street and downtown should be reserved for customers. Employees could park on upper levels of garages, so people would be more encouraged to shop downtown. When buying city sticker, pay extra to gain access to city garages, thus making money from sales tax of people doing business in town. Harness youth sports organizations memberships for fundraising. Asset improvement for soccer fields, parks, athletic facilities. With an income exception, have an annual library card fee. The parking passes for downtown employees on higher levels of garages. Is recycling center cost effective? Get revenue enough to pay for it? That's a question. Move to a fee-for-service model where appropriate, i.e. Robert Crown Ice Rink. Eliminate special refuse pickup by instituting barcode system. Captures revenue that is now missed with existing call-in system. Rent Lakefront Art Center for weddings. Corporate events. This is better used for the resource, not commercialization. 25 mile per hour citywide speed limit. Tickets for speeders over 35 miles per hour, no tolerance. Increase effort to obtain grants from feds. Yard waste stickers. Non-tax revenue. Institute a fee to check out books of library, such as $1 per week. Decriminalize marijuana to a ticket for less than half ounce, $200 ticket otherwise. Consider placing branch libraries in select school libraries. Implement staff suggestions. Long-term goal to increase to
I'm having issues with that word. And consider Evanston as more of a cultural city, develop events and programs that bring revenue to city, including Performing Arts Center. Set boat launch fees to match all costs for launch, ops, maintenance, dredging. So true cost pricing on boat launch.
Bill Geiger. Service levels to cut things, not people. Affordable dental care for low-income seniors. Implement staff suggestions. Close township office, move into civic center. Provide retirement incentives. Service levels. Approach snow removal as an opportunity to improve revenue by removing snow from sidewalks in all retail areas. Short-term benefits, shop and retail satisfaction. Long-term benefit, improved retail traffic and sales tax revenues. What to do? Provide as a service where not done today. Remove snow barriers at pedestrian crossings and between parking spaces and pedestrian walkways. Cut back on street sweeping to just the spring and fall.
John Spesco, and I'll read cost containment ideas. Refinance debt to take advantage of low rates and stretch out terms. Reduce fleet size, maximize utility of vehicle fleet by moving public works vehicles into shared motor pool. Combine public works and parks and rec departments if it would be cost cutting. Facilities departments stand alone. Reduce number of consultants and use available local resident talent who have vested interests. Ask employees to pay more of their benefit programs. Short-term benefit reductions would increase. Long-term employee costs would be reduced. Drop health insurance for aldermen. Eliminate or charge for yard waste collection. Fight for pension reform. Limit summer street cleaning. Consolidate park and recreation events across venues. Privatize garbage collection. Reallocate some workers to recycling and yard waste collection. Short-term benefit, long-term benefit as well. Renegotiate labor contracts to reduce wages and benefits for new hires. Reduction of number of employees. All departments with fewer cuts in police and fire, more cuts in parks, forests, etc., and public works. Rest are the norm. Job reductions based on past 3 performance reviews. Reduce number of least effective performers. Defer merit increases, annual adjustments by 6, 9, 12 months, model for impact. Reduce employer portion of retirement contribution. Offer lower costs, reduced benefit insurance plan, health insurance as an option for employees. Reduce employer portion of health insurance premium. Does Robert Crown really need replacement, or are there other options? Minimize service duplication with county or state. Close civic center and move city offices to empty office space. Identify sources or reasons for liability costs and workman's comp costs. Implement measures to reduce these costs. Reduce the use of consultants. Reduce the use of consultants. Utilize community volunteer expertise and or Northwestern education resource. Eliminate pensions plan for new hires. Employees should contribute more to benefit programs. Implement staff suggestions. Place a moratorium on additional property parcels going nonprofit. Civic Center is a financial drain on the city for a non-significant building. Robert Crown Ice Rink, operations run by a private company or run by the city. View all city bids and estimates for appropriateness and accuracy. An example was the lagoon furnace cost. Speed up distribution of blue recycle containers. Require apartment buildings and businesses to recycle. Contract out the law function. Restructure sewer bonds. Extend term fixed rate to reduce annual interest and carrying costs. Privatize garbage collection. Privatizing waste collection. Speed up, sorry. Close branch libraries. Eliminate special refuge pickup by instituting barcode system. Stop approving Northwestern University building permits until agreement is reached for an annual $4 million service fee to Evanston. Reduce external consulting. Fix budget for consultants. Utilize local talent. Use free software instead of proprietary systems. Utilize more volunteers and interns. Reduce community development staffing to reflect decline in development. Reduce all non-essential city services. City's responsibilities are health, safety, welfare. We have too many other services. I think that's all of them.
Very nice job. Someone else on this table? Report? One more group.
Kevin O'Connor. Efficiency is the category. Before cutting, analyze long-term consequences. Ask lobbying groups to prioritize demands. Cities should use school fields and gyms for rec facilities. Consider shared services, schools and city. Accounting, technology, building services, maintenance. Reduce fire department staffing by reducing one truck or engine. Short-term benefit, reduced wages. Long-term benefit, reduced overhead and benefit. What to do, quantify the resulting service impacts in order to evaluate this option. Response times, workloads, related impacts, fire prevention training, results in reduced expense, 6 staff plus overhead. Explore outside provider for comprehensive dental service, Northwestern University, North Shore Hospital, St. Francis Hospital. Close branch libraries, open new branch in Southwest Evanston.
Now, if perchance you awaken during the middle of the night and you are so upset because you thought of something that you wish you had said, you can simply go to the website and post your idea there, because all of those ideas also, along with yours, are going to be monitored and brought back to you next time on November 30th. So we'll be compiling all of those, and the city is doing its best to quantify and or respond to any of the ideas and suggestions that are coming forward in between. It's a monumental task, but this will be done. And I think I'm going to call City Manager Wally Bobkowitz up again, because we're in the process of wrapping up. We want you to be able to leave right on time tonight. And maybe I can get some help with next steps. I know that the staff recommendations are also posted on the web, and you can go there, as well as one of you from your table can take the copy home with you. Wally?
Again, thank you. 3/4 done. One more night on Monday. November the 30th at the City Council chambers at the Civic Center. What we're going to do is we're going to put this all together by category: efficiency, cost containment, service levels, non-tax revenue, general revenue strategies, and other innovations. There's some duplicates. We'll roll up the duplicates. And we're committed from a staff perspective to put some dollars associated with some of these ideas. Some of them we have pretty easy. Some of them we're going to have to take an educated estimate as to what the dollars would be. We will do that over the next probably 7 days. So we will email this to you the first part of next week, a summary document with all this written up, plus additional things we've been getting on the website, and things are starting to pick up a little bit on the website as far as comments. Anita Patel from our finance staff has been dealing with those comments. And Anita, I think over the last 3-4 days especially, we're starting to get a lot of comments on the website. So we will incorporate those to the best of our ability and then get that back to you. The goal then for the meeting on the 30th, which will be again in the council chambers, will be to go through this, look at what we've done, have some general discussion, and then I think make some priority recommendations to the City Council in each of these categories. So if we can, probably try to focus on the top 2 or 3 in each of those categories, that will be the basis of the final report to the City Council. We'll then circulate that final iteration over that following week between the 30th and the council meeting on December 7th, and we'll move forward from there. So that's where we're going. Again, the web piece is going to become extremely important, not only to allow you to add other things, but also to have other members of the community, because we'll also put this up under the section of tonight's meeting on the website per category. So we can have people specifically give information on cost containment, on service levels, and as people see the replay of this, either online or on Channel 16, people will hopefully have some input there. So I guess unless there's any questions, comments, concerns, cityoфevanston.org/budget. I'm sorry? .org/budget. And it's a great website, which we've done internally without the use of any consultants. Yes, sir.
Hello? Is there any way of putting any type of polling application on the website so people can express their, more people than just us can express their opinions on what should be cut or raised or whatever?
And I think once we have a report and you make priorities, perhaps we can have the polling based on those priorities, if you agree or disagree. Again, we've got a very talented individual in our IT department who's been working with us on this. And Anita, I'll ask that you take that back as a to-do from tonight to get with our BPAT staff on the ability to add a polling once we get the recommendations of this group up on the website after November 30. So thanks. We'll work on that. Are there any other final comments? Yes. Excuse me? Yes, and I think we can probably do that electronically through IP address, and there's all sorts of whiz-bang ways beyond my technical ability. But again, we have a very good city employee, non-contractor, working on this, and she's been doing excellent work, and we'll figure out a way so that you can't sort of stuff the ballot box. Well, I think what we can do is through sometimes I've been on sites where you can vote once based on the computer. If someone really wants to go and run around to different computers, fine, but I think we can make it as honest as possible. Any other final questions?
May I just say, I'd really like to encourage you to offer your feedback on the process or anything else on the mural paper that's mounted on the wall near the rear door.
And again, thanks very much. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you on the 30th.